we go from that to something not so great.
No. I don't care about the other crap, but let's be honest with ourselves. This was something great because this was Team Uppercats.
It was Team Uppercats with Natalya versus...
I know, I was like, dude, why can't we switch the females so that we can have all the awesome on one side and all the terrible on the other side?
I know, right? Versus Naomi and the Usos. Pretty good back and forth tag matchup, I guess. I mean, here's the thing. When you see two teams and the frequency in which, Cesaro and Kid and the Usos have been mixing it up together, it becomes a little stale. It's kind of like to Ashton's point earlier when he was talking about the tag division. But, the end comes. Natalya hurts her leg at one point in the matchup again, kind of going back to that knee injury from, I think 2 weeks ago.
Which is hilarious because of a point that I'll talk about when we're done about this match.
Yeah. Now, here I thought, Ashton, she was playing possum because she seems to be in that heel alignment now. But no, it seemed rather serious because Tyson was about to get a double super kick later on. He tags in Natalya, which means Naomi comes in. Naomi stacks her up with the roll-up of death and gets the win.
Dude, I am so sick of the roll-up of death.
But
it's not even over. Why are they pushing it?
I know, and I just don't understand it at all, especially when you're as talented as Naomi and you have legitimate finishers.
Yeah, somebody seriously needs to bury the roll-up of death.
Who will be that hero? We may never know.
I think we might have gotten our hero returning later on tonight. We'll talk about that.
Well, hopefully.
That's how you keep them tuned in, John.
Yeah, I know. Look at you working the audience. But what did you want to say about this?
Oh, after the match was over, Natalya was stomping her injured leg on the ground.
Oh my god, that's such a great catch. I didn't even think to make the connection.
Yeah, she was like yelling at Tyson and she was stomping her leg on the ground out of anger and it was her freaking bum leg. Like, way to remain, selling, Natalya. I'm so proud of you. I wish they would have taught her better in the Heart Dungeon.
It's moments like this that I think, maybe me and Ashton really are being a bit too hard on Natalya. But then she does shit like this and I realize, no. Not hard enough! God,
That's
wait
what she said.
Exactly, after the guy took Niagara, apparently. But more importantly...
Did you see Maurice actually tweeted about The Miz and how that only happened once? He's the man of the household.
Oh my god. Your wife chimed in, dude. Street cred officially dead.
I know, and he even replied, he was like, that never happened!
He is so sensitive.
I love it. He's been so good on this run. And when I say that about The Miz, it's real.
Yeah, guys, I would have actually rigged the confetti and the pony, but...
That's like 2 years from now, me admitting to Natalya doing something good.
I know. Oh, man, the day that happens, I'm starting to build the shelter, man. Screw everyone else.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's how big of a deal it is that I'm giving The Miz credit for something.
All right, dude. We go from that.
Wasn't this the point that we got our Sheamus vignette of the night?
I think we did, yes.
Because, it's worth pointing out that a lot of people are kind of talking about how Sheamus is returning for the sole purpose of helping people to realize that Roman Reigns isn't all that bad.
First of all, wow. Second of all, I am convinced that he's being groomed for that, top heel spot that I've been hearing because... it really would take a heel to not even tell us when you're going to come back after all these vignettes. It's like Sheamus returns, ellipses.
Eventually.
Yes. But we go from that, and I know there may be some debate over this, but this...
Sheamus returns. June. Never gonna find out.
Wow, you are on another freaking level tonight. I ain't even gonna try. But what I am gonna try and do, we come to the segment that for me personally, Ashton, was I'll say my definitive second favorite. I was gonna say favorite, but then we had somebody do something tonight that we'll get to later that I thought was amazing.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but we have John Cena come out. And, look, let me sum it up to you guys this way, because I ain't gonna do this shit verbatim. He pretty much says, Rusev doesn't want to give me my rematch, I'm going to adapt, because insert hokey, overcoming the odds, because you could do anything here.
You know what the only thing that's worse then super serious, angry voice, I'm gonna kick your ass, John Cena.
What's that?
Overly patriotic, super serious, angry voice, I'm gonna kick your ass for America, John Cena.
America! But, pretty much saying, I will go to WrestleMania, and for the second straight year.
Yeah, he did this crap last year, too, and it didn't really work out, did it?
Exactly. I am going to enter myself in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then Stephanie McMahon comes out and she's like, shutting that down. Yeah. It's like, and Stephanie, here's the thing. I may just be really tired of Cena. Stephanie killed it here.
Can I just say, Stephanie deserves so much better of a theme song?
She really does. You could even go back to...
I feel like she should be the one with Charlotte's theme song.
I agree. Yeah.
Just let her have no chance in hell. Vince isn't on TV anymore.
You know what? That would be fine with me. And plus, I think it would be a nice subtle way to really talk about the power shift, from Vince to the Authority. Yeah, I completely agree. That theme doesn't work for me. But what does work for me is how she tore Cena a new one. It's like, Cena, let me show you something. And she shows a picture of her as a little girl with Andre the Giant, talking about how Andre was her friend.
Can I just say, though, at one point she said that he is arguably one of the biggest icons of all time in the wrestling business. All I can say is there's no argument that he's one of the biggest icons in the wrestling business. The only argument that there is to be made is whether he's number one or not. And personally, I think he probably is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Andre, he wasn't just a human being. He was an attraction. But that's
he put pro wrestling on the map, really.
Yeah, I mean, he really did. But, that's another discussion for another time. But she does say, I'm not going to have you, John, come out here and slander my friend. And so my answer to you about being in the Under the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, no way am I going to let that happen.
And by the way, I love that Cena took random pot shots at Fandango and Adam Rose as if they're beneath him.
Wait, what did he say that were pot shots? Do you remember?
You don't remember? He said something about how, that pretty much is how everyone has been getting into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle.
Right.
By declaring that they're in it, and then he went through the list, and he's like, we already know that The Miz is in it, we already know that Curtis Axel's in it, we already know that Fandango and Adam Rose are in it. That's not exactly a murderer's row, I think he called it. It's like, wow, John, bury the entire undercard in one sentence.
That was actually close to being a hate of the night for me, but I let it go because I'm just so used to it. But and then this kind of got on my nerves too, because like, you know what I like about that picture is like, because I can see then that you weren't the bitch that you are now. That's really nice, John. That's really nice. But I love Stephanie's retort, and she's like, well, women in power are often referred to in a negative manner. Yeah, Stephanie! Remind him whose house this is.
And what I love more than that is that she called him out on his crap, because anytime somebody throws an insult around like that, it's because they're unhappy with the decision that was made, and they want to try and change the person's mind by making them all riled up and angry and make them think with emotions rather than logic. Stephanie shut it down.
Yeah, she did. She pretty much tells Cena the way to, look, you didn't get the job done against Rusev, so maybe it's time to find someone who can. And then she says, look, we have no qualms leaving you off WrestleMania. You're not bigger than the WWE, John. Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart. Yeah. But she goes through all the names and says, then when they left, everybody thought, the WWE is going to go downhill. But not only did we survive, we thrived. And it's not the WWE that needs John Cena. It's John Cena that needs the WWE. And they made this big production out of, oh my God, this is going to be the first WrestleMania in 10 years where Cena's not on the card. Well, what a tragedy. I mean, I really feel the weight of it, Ashton. I don't know. I felt my soul was being torn apart just thinking about John Cena not being able to be at WrestleMania 31. Just unbelievable.
No, John, the weight that you're feeling, I think that's just the intelligence that's getting insulted by the WWE right now.
Yeah.
By them trying to make you believe that Cena's not going to be at WrestleMania.
Exactly. And, but then this segment just goes to a whole nother place because Curtis Axel comes out.
Oh, yes.
Holy crap. I did not expect this, and I'm so happy it happened. He comes out, don't change the channel. I never would on you, Curtis. I never would, mainly because I don't have cable, so technically I can't.
Can I just say, I love that he manages to botch this a different way every time.
I know.
Did you notice the botch tonight?
What was the botch tonight?
Well, on Friday he said that he was in it for 32 hours and some odd minutes and then seconds, rather than saying 32 days.
Right.
And now tonight, he said, I've been in the Royal Rumble match for 36 days, 26 hours. Wouldn't that be 37 days and 2 hours?
Oh man, I think it's gonna become a little mini game with Curtis Axel's segments. Find the botch.
I know. How does he manage to? He's finally getting a shot, and he can't get his own lines right. You had one job, Curtis.
I am like one botched line away from believing that it's intentional. I really am.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying.
But it gets crazier because he goes through his Rumble stats. He says that he can beat Rusev at Mania, and an Axelmania chant actually starts
on his way to the ring. Yep, Axelmania. So good.
I was so pumped.
I know.
And you have to imagine, like, he actually took a second to, like, look around the crowd and really soak it in, and he is never going to forget that crowd for as long as he lives.
It's great, too, because at first he had this look on his face like, oh my god, I'm over. But then he played it off, and he was like, of course I'm over.
I'm Curtis Axel, bitch. So then he continues to come down. And then I loved what he said here. I loved what he said here because he says, that he could beat Rusev. He says, no, I already know that I'm in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but 2 WrestleMania victories are better than 1.
He's stealing lines from Ryback's old jobbers.
Oh my god, Curtis. With David Otunga not an active competitor, you are the new light of my life.
He really is, isn't he?
He sucks up to Stephanie. He tells her about the common ground that they share because he too met Andre, and he calls her, an inspiration. Stephanie says she too can get behind the whole Axelmania chant and this and that. Hell, at one point earlier, she even said that she actually liked the yes chant, so she's definitely warmed up to that crowd.
Well, yeah, because they hate Cena.
Exactly. She said, I don't know, Cena, with your falling stock and the rising stock of the Axeman, we're going to put you two in a match.
I love what she did, though, because she said Curtis Axel is clearly on the way up. And then she said, but what about you, Cena, your stock? And then she actually did the sound. She went, psh.
Stephanie, you're wonderful.
I would call her a queen, but she's female. So you know what? Stephanie McMahon is the queen.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? She concludes it by saying, even though you're going to face Curtis Axel, that doesn't change anything because the only way you're going to get the match that I know you want at WrestleMania is if you can change Rusev's mind. And then I love it here because Axel isn't done. He actually, I'm not going to be able to do it. He asks Cena, what you gonna do, Cena, when Axelmania runs wild on you?
And then he rips his shirt off.
This segment is Scott Steiner approved.
I know, right?
So good. And then, we get the usual, even before that, Cena takes the mic, and I hated it here.
Oh, I know. Super serious Cena speaking slowly to make sure everyone can hear him. What a cookie cutter douche nozzle.
Douche nozzle plus 5 points. So yeah, pretty much, I'm telling you right now, you want to turn around and go to the back, because if this match happens, you're not going to be able to leave on your own. But shut up!
And I love, too, we went to commercial and we came back into the match, and we'll talk about the match shenanigans later, as soon as I'm done here. But I do want to say, Cena destroyed Axel, but he won by submission, and then he broke when the bell rang. Way to follow through.
Yeah, exactly.
If this match starts, you're not going to be able to walk out of this ring. 5 minutes later, I won! I'm going to the back, bye.
Exactly. I don't know. But, the match shenanigans.
Empty threats, John. Empty threats.
Yeah, really.
You're going to have to put Curtis Axel in an ambulance if you want him to not make it to next week.
Oh, by the way, I love that this guy is such a douchebag as to remind Stephanie, Stephanie, I've been in 10 WrestleManias and I'm a 15-time champion. My legacy! Give me that WrestleMania spot. What?
I know, right? He's like, I assumed that would get me in. Well, guess what, John? We all know what assuming does.
Ah! Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, just really quick, Axel does. He really goes a bit excessive, but in a good way, because I get that's part of the
He's
character.
a heel, though. It's perfect.
And then at one point, after Cena gets like, I guess the first or the second clothesline, Axel's like leaning against the ropes. He's looking up at the WrestleMania sign, and he actually
hulking up.
starts hulking up. Dude, Axel, and see, I'm hoping, this is probably an anomaly of a crowd if we're being realistic, but I would hope that maybe it's a groundswell. I'll be very curious to see what the reaction will be next Monday.
It's going
But
to be so popular at the post-WrestleMania Raw, though.
you know what? I agree. And I'm still pulling for him to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So, yeah, I doubt it's... What was that?
I said, oh my god, if that happens.
Dude, I'd pop. I think the crowd might even pop. But yeah.
I know what wouldn't pop.
What's that?
Ryback's knee.
Oh my god, yeah, because he probably would have been eliminated long beforehand. But anyway, we have, after that, Rusev and Lana come out. Rusev waves the Russian flag, does his usual shtick. Lana congratulates him. And then, Rusev reminds Cena, hey, it's up to me whether you get a title shot or not. And long story short, he really acts like he's mulling it over. The fans are even chanting like, no, no, no at one point. He's like, I don't listen to you, you ignorant Americans. And, of course, boo, cause xenophobia, yeah. And ultimately Rusev does tell Cena no. And then the flag comes down, but the popping noise, Cena sold the pop. He flinched. And, so the Russian flag scares John Cena, apparently.
Cena fears Russia.
As well he should. So great job again by Rusev.